Welcome to Coffee and Comics with your boy Savon Thomas. Today we're going to review the movie Space Jam 2. I posted a shorter review on my Instagram page talking about this movie. This is the long form of this, talking about my thoughts on this movie. And I have a lot of thoughts on this movie because I feel like the first thing I want to talk about is more of a little bit of a rant before I actually get into Space Jam 2. This movie for some reason was very polarizing. And I think people came into it. I hope people didn't come into it expecting like this grandiose, like amazing feature film. Like I came into it knowing it's going to be like a fun movie. Like it's going to be Looney Tunes characters, Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, all this stuff that we saw, previously, same type of movie. But I think, with it, I don't know, the LeBron James, Michael Jordan comparisons, people already came into this movie skeptical that it was going to be good. I mean, most sequels aren't really that good, but this wasn't a sequel. It was an addition to, if that makes sense. And so for me, like watching this movie, I'm like, okay, let me not have the lens that I feel like most people had. Most people had one of two lenses. One had the lens of nostalgia and saying like, okay, you're touching my childhood by remaking a movie that I love from my childhood. But I feel like a lot of people came into the movie with that thought process of, okay, let me watch this with the lens of my childhood is being attacked, and so I'm going to defend my childhood and not even give this movie a shot. Right? I feel like that was one lens. The other lens I feel like people came into this movie with was not liking LeBron and saying like the LeBron versus the Michael Jordan comparison, and just like basically like their view of LeBron dictated whether they like this movie or not. I feel like those are really the two biggest lenses. I don't feel like a majority of people came into it just saying, you know what, this is a movie, I'm gonna give it a shot, right? I feel like everybody had some type of bias, and for me, I did have a bias, but I have a bias of I'm going to try my best to like this movie and not look through it through one of those two lenses. Same thing again. I equated this in my other review to Lion King. Like I absolutely love The Lion King. Disney's The Lion King to me is the best animated movie ever created, and it's one of my top 5 movies ever. And so they created the movie with what was it? Live action kind of, but it wasn't really live action. And they changed the movie to some different things. And I didn't hate the movie, but it wasn't better than the first one. So that's what I say. Like, but I still went to that movie not saying, oh my gosh, they're gonna mess up my childhood nostalgia. There's no way no movie could be better than what I saw ever. Like I gave it a chance, just like I gave this movie a chance. And so that's my kind of rant, if you will, on what I've seen. Because again, a lot of people have trashed it, and it kind of amazes me. Like I'm like people say, oh, it's cheesy. Like what do you expect? It's a kids movie. Oh, LeBron's not a great actor. Duh. Like neither was Michael Jordan. If you go back and watch Space Jam, neither was Michael Jordan, right? The plot wasn't the greatest. Space Jam's plot wasn't the greatest either. The first one, it kind of was. It was decent. It was better than this one, I'll tell you that. But you can't tell me that the plot for Space Jam was amazing, and you can't tell me the plot of Space Jam 2 was amazing either. Both weren't really that great. But I will say Space Jam 1's plot was better than Space Jam 2. There you go. And then, there's a lot. Most people compared it. I'll give the comparison to Space Jam 1, Space Jam 2. It's not even called Space Jam 2. Space Jam: A New Legacy. And as far as my review of the movie, I enjoyed it. Like, I laughed a lot. I didn't realize how much WB owned. Like, there were so many different movies, and like in the serververse, there were so many different movies. And so for those that haven't seen it, here's your spoiler warning. I'm going to give some spoilers in my longer reviews of the movie. I will talk more in depth on the movie line. And so basically the story, the plot line, which isn't that great, is LeBron James, basketball player, NBA superstar, global icon. There's a lot of fan service of LeBron in the movie. I get it. They did the same thing for Michael Jordan. But basically his son, he has, same kids. He's married with the same amount of kids, two boys, one daughter. But they play his family basically. And his son's more into video games and creating games than he is into basketball, but he's good at both. And so LeBron's like, hey, I grew up this way without a dad. I had to focus on basketball because that was my ticket out. And his son's like, I want to focus on making video games. And so the story is basically like LeBron being a hard dad on his son to be a good basketball player. and the son makes this video game. It's pretty fun, but doesn't go anywhere. So then there's a, what is it? It's an algorithm that's at WB called Algae Rhythm. He's like a AI bot, basically. The algorithm feels disrespected. You know, he offers LeBron James a chance to like be part of like some big, grandiose plan. Doesn't take it, and then he finds a way to kidnap the son of LeBron James and basically be the nice person to the son so that he hates his dad, and then they actually end up in the game. And so basically the stakes of the game is if LeBron beats Algae Rhythm, he gets his son back and can leave. If he doesn't beat Algae Rhythm, then he's going to keep him inside the serververse. Similar to Space Jam 1, it's like you're going to play basketball forever. And so that's what happens basically in the movie to set things up. And so the first 15 minutes, 20 minutes is setting up the plot line, and that's a little dry. That portion of things is a little dry. I'm like, what is this? I was waiting to get to, cartoon characters having fun, and so that sets up the movie. And then they go into what they call a serververse. They show all these different like worlds of WB, which I didn't realize that Harry Potter was owned by WB. The Matrix trilogy is owned by. There's a lot of stuff that WB owns, right? And so it shows all those worlds, and then they obviously meet the Looney Tunes. The Looney Tunes are scattered throughout the serververse. They have to go gather the Looney Tunes, play a basketball game. And so the gathering of Looney Tunes was my favorite part because they're all in different worlds. You got to see like Superman. You got to see all these different characters, and so I love that part of things. As far as the basketball game goes, I didn't like the actual basketball game as much as like the other one. Like the old basketball game versus the new basketball game, just to make a comparison. Space Jam, the way they align things was cooler. Like the new basketball game was so it was a video game that they played basically. And it was like, hella points. But the old one had hella points too. So I don't know. I like the layout of the old basketball game versus the new one. But though, it was fun. Like the movie was just fun to me. That's why I say I enjoyed it. Like I laughed. I enjoyed it. It's a kid's movie. I understand like the point of the movie, and so I just sat there and watched it. I said, you know what, this movie, it is what it is. Is it going to be as great as Space Jam? Maybe, maybe not. I'm not looking for it to live up to that. I'm just viewing this as it is a movie, right? I think part of me, like I grew up as the second child, right? So part of me is like, I wouldn't be compared to the first child. This is the second child. Same thing, Space Jam, second child. Oh, maybe that's why, but. I enjoyed it. 6.4 out of 10 is the rating I gave it for sure. LeBron James acting is not that great, but I didn't expect him to be. The plot's not that great. It's fun though. And so that's my long review of the movie Space Jam 2. Thanks for tuning in. I'll have any comments.